What's up, and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today we are doing another ranking video. This time we're taking a look at the Quentin Tarantino films from worst to best. Now, you are going to disagree with me on a few of these, most likely with the one that I consider the worst and probably the best. Just remember that I don't consider any of these bad. They're mostly all good, but a ranking is a ranking. You can't avoid having a last place. Just remember, it's last, not least. Before I start, let me know how you rank all these films in the comments down below. I'm curious on where we agree. Anywho, let's get cracking. In 8th place, otherwise known as last place, at 69% is Jackie Brown. I've seen a lot of love for this film online, and I can certainly get behind some of it. I particularly really enjoyed the last act, where it seemed like every character was really doing something vital to the progression of the story. I think it was the pacing in the first two acts that I didn't always care that much about. A lot of great dialogue, but also, you have De Niro sitting around watching TV and smoking pot a majority of the time. And I mean, it's Robert De Niro. That's all you're going to have him do until the third act? I mean, come on. In 7th place at 72% is The Hateful Eight. While I still think this movie probably has the best dialogue delivery out of all the Tarantino films, I think it also has a bit of a pacing issue. There's still plenty to love with this one, though. I think it's one of the few Tarantino films that are recognizable from a mile away. Colorful characters, memorable settings, just a jumbled up plot with some pacing issues. In 6th place at 78% is Death Proof. I can't praise Death Proof enough for the stunt work done in the movie. That's some of the best practical effects that I've seen in a film for a very long time. Some of it rivals the recent Mission Impossible films, in my opinion. Also, some really good action, some really good gore, but I didn't care for some of the characters in this one, which with Tarantino is a bit of a rarity for me. The girls kind of blended in together because they all had a very similar skill set. They all did the same thing. I never felt like they were individually adding to the plot, but rather they added to the plot as a three-headed beast. Top 5 time in 5th place at 86% is Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair. Tarantino sees part 1 and part 2 as the same movie, so I decided I would watch both of these films back to back with the idea in the back of my head that it's one big thing. I've got to say though, from a pacing perspective, they work better as two separate films. It was an interesting experience nonetheless watching it as one big thing, but I'm pretty sure that had I rescored Kill Bill 1 and 2 separately, they'd be higher on this list. The score as is though isn't too shabby at all for a 4-hour film. In 4th place at 88% is Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. This movie mostly surprised me. I loved what it was going for. I loved the comedy, the action, and the idea of dropping these fictional characters into this very real setting and the things that they do when they let loose. It may not be a movie that's for everybody, but honestly, I had a great time and I enjoyed this movie. In 3rd place at 91%, we have our one and only tie for Tarantino films between Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction. I feel like a lot of people will put Pulp Fiction in the number 1 spot, and I can't say that I blame you. I think the word that I gave Pulp Fiction was cinematically poetic. The way that the movie is put together is really masterful and unforgettable. I think the only reason why it's in 3rd place is due to technical things. Remember, 91% is an insanely good score. Reservoir Dogs is also up there because the dialogue is some of the best that I've seen from Tarantino. I still think Hateful Eight has the better dialogue overall, but it is akin to Reservoir Dogs because it's done similarly, and I love how they just skip showing the most important, vital moment in that movie because why the heck not? It's Tarantino. In 2nd place at 92% is Django Unchained. Django Unchained is a movie that is very well made on a technical level, and remember, it's only 1% better than Pulp Fiction. As a whole, this is a technical list. It's not a list of favorites. My personal list of favorites is completely different. Where I had technical problems with Pulp Fiction, for instance, I didn't have them with Django. And where I favored Pulp Fiction as a whole, I didn't favor with Django. But again, this is the technical score, not the personal favorite. Just saying, okay? I get it. Most people would probably rather see Pulp Fiction. I get it. It's time for the best of the best. In 1st place at 93% is Inglorious Bastards. I feel like most people would probably disagree with me on this one too because it's not Pulp Fiction, but this film has a character that I feel like is Tarantino's best, as well as one of the best characters in cinematic history as a whole, and that is Christoph Waltz's character. So good. When he spoke his lines, not only did the characters that he was speaking to feel anxiety, but so did you watching him. He became a household name because of this movie, because of his performance in it. Also, I liked it for the same reason that I like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Fictional characters being dropped into a very real setting, and because of that, they can change things in unexpected ways. There is very little that I don't like about this movie. There you have it, my ranking for Tarantino's films from worst to best. Again, I'd love to hear your ranking of these films in the comments down below. As for YouTube, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button if you like this ranking video and would like to see some more like it. Hit the thumbs up button because that always helps out my channel. And don't forget about the little bell icon, because it may not be Taco Bell, but it is the next best thing, because it helps notify you when I come out with my next ranking video. And until then, peace out!